Hey, buddy. What's going on, man? Pick a card. Any card. This is the card that we are going with today. Welcome back to Ice Hockey POV. This is the show where we take a look at hockey memorabilia in real-world locations. And in today's video, I wanted to dive into this 2017-18 O-Pee-Chee hockey playing card insert out of the Upper Deck O-Pee-Chee line of 17-18. These cards have always been some of the more interesting ones that Upper Deck has produced because these cards, they're flimsy, they're slick, they're cropped out. They are essentially real playing cards stuffed into regular O-Pee-Chee packs. So you'll be switching through, flipping through your new O-Pee-Chee cards, and then once in a while you'll find one of these. These are obviously a more sought-after card compared to the base. And in today's video, I wanted to talk about this Ryan Kesler 6 of Hearts Anaheim Ducks card from back in the day. Now, I gotta say this at the beginning of the video, Ryan Kesler, the human being, he is, as reported back in December, going to trial for some very heinous things that were described. At the time of recording this video, we do not know the outcome of said trial, but it already was revealed that Kesler is pleading not guilty. So for now, we're going to talk about Kesler the player. We're going to talk about the legacy that he left with the Anaheim Ducks, as well as the Kesler trade, which saw him get sent over to Anaheim in the first place. First, though, let's get into this card itself. We have a really nice mirror image. You've got Kesler on the top and Kesler on the bottom. Ryan Kesler, C, written across the middle there. O-Pee-Chee on the left and the right with the 6 of Hearts and the Anaheim Ducks logo. Ryan Kesler was a pretty good Anaheim Duck, multiple-time Selke nominee with both Vancouver and Anaheim. And even though Kesler wasn't really a guy who produced the most amount of points with Anaheim, his entire run with the Ducks was during a time where NHL scoring was not as prevalent as it is nowadays. He was more of a 20-goal, 50-assist guy with the Ducks, but I remember back in the day he was still getting like 90 overall ratings in the NHL video games because his defensive game was just that strong. Kesler was nominated for the Selke Trophy for the NHL's best defensive forward, I believe 3 years in a row with the Vancouver Canucks. He was doing work in 2009, 2010, and 2011, which is why he was so sought after on the trade market when it was revealed he didn't want to stick around in Vancouver. The back of this card design has some really cool, intricate details on it. This is all one flat image. There's no embossing or debossing anywhere, but just the illustration and the little graphic there. Look at how cool that is for the 17 O-Pee-Chee hockey playing card insert series. Obviously, all of these cards have the same reverse, so if you have multiple of these kinds of cards, you can build out a deck technically. It would take a lot of manpower and you would need to get a lot of cards, but it is possible, as per my understanding. But Ryan Kesler inevitably got sent over to the Anaheim Ducks after being interested in leaving Vancouver following their terrible 13-14 season. Rumors came out that teams like Chicago and Pittsburgh were all interested in Kesler, but ultimately, he ended up going to the Ducks because he wanted to go there out of those 3 teams. Vancouver got, in exchange for Kesler, Luca Sbisa, Nick Bonino, and a first-round draft pick. A package that, admittedly, wasn't all too great when you consider just how good Kesler was as a hockey player, but Jim Benning and his hands at the time were quite tied. Nick Bonino didn't really amount to much in Vancouver. Luca Sbisa was terrible. And then the first-round pick the Canucks got, they used to select Jared McCann, who was quickly shipped over to Florida a few years after. All in all, a very disappointing trade return for Ryan Kesler, one of the Vancouver Canucks' best players. Multiple 70-point seasons and 40-goal seasons with the team. He was a power play stud. He could fire it from anywhere, essentially, and he had some really good playmaking during his days in Vancouver as well. It's just by the time the Canucks started to do poorly, you started to see Kesler's play wane, and he wasn't into it as much as he was before. We've seen comparisons to JT Miller, if you want to talk about Vancouver Canucks lore over the years. American centers with attitude, strong defensive play at times for Miller's sake, and a lot of points. But ultimately, Ryan Kesler was a leader that helped the Vancouver Canucks reach the Stanley Cup Finals in 2011, something that Miller was unfortunately not able to do. Kesler and the Ducks also had a pretty good run. They made a whole bunch of playoff appearances and had a whole bunch of series wins, but they were never able to get over to the promised land either. Kesler now is a relic of a former generation of Anaheim Ducks players, as the Ducks ended up going through their own long-term rebuild post Kesler, Perry, Getzlaf, and others. Now they're doing all right with this new generation of younger Ducks, but the Ryan Keslers of it all will still be remembered for their time in the system all those years ago. But with that said, you can let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Coming to you live from beside this old Hudson's Bay Company outlet store. Let me know how you feel about this Ryan Kesler O-Pee-Chee playing card, hockey card, and I'll see you in the next one here on Ice Hockey POV.